I love a giant monster. Go take the T-Rex and dial it even bigger and crazier. Actually, weirdly, the day before I got the call about doing the job, I sat and watched Jurassic Park, and I actually made notes, because I do that with films I love, where I sort of analyze them. And I sat and spent about 5 hours just making notes on Jurassic Park, and then it was like the universe knew, because the next day I got the phone call asking if I would want to direct it. And Steven was involved the whole way through, but was very respectful as a director himself. I didn't know what it was, I was like, oh my God, this is my hero, the greatest filmmaker ever.
Legend.
Yeah, and so I felt like, is this gonna be easy or very difficult, making this movie with him? When I was filming, he just basically kind of stepped back and said, go make your movie. There's a scene in the film where Jonathan Bailey, he's a paleontologist, and he's never really seen a proper dinosaur in the wild. And then he sees one, and he goes up and he goes to touch it. We improvised that. That wasn't really in the script. Steven said that he saw that and he was very moved. He said it was really emotional. So that was good. I mean, I love a giant monster, and it was in the screenplay. When they were trying to make a T-Rex, it's like the first experiment or two went wrong. It's like a giant T-Rex that's not quite correct. So it's kind of a monster to some extent. I got really excited about this because the T-Rex is one of the best monsters, or animals, creatures, in movies. And so really Steven Spielberg was saying, okay, go take the T-Rex and dial it even bigger and crazier. And so I took a lot of inspiration from other things like the Rancor monster in Star Wars, Alien, like a giant alien. There's a film, The Elephant Man. It's a British film. It's about like a guy who was born a bit deformed and so in the Victorian times. And so anyway, it was all these things all put into a big pot and stirred, and a creature came out. And I really like the T-Rex.
And Godzilla maybe it emerged from the smoke. I got a strong sense of Godzilla presence.
There is definitely some little nods to moments in Godzilla with the flare and the smoke. Yeah, we had a paleontologist, yeah. And so he basically was always available to us whenever we were doing designs. And the paleontologist kept saying, birds evolved from dinosaurs. And birds, well, they're really colorful, but there's so many different colors. And so he was like, please add colors, you know what I mean? Like, because we think dinosaurs there's no reason to think they would be this boring, lizard color the whole time. So we tried to add a lot of interesting colors in it. Skywalker Sound did the movie, who did nearly every great film there is, and the original Jurassic Park. And they went back, they got hold of the cassette tapes from the original recordings of the T-Rex, which was actually a baby elephant. And so they took those recordings and redigitized them in the computer to be able to create new sounds for our T-Rex. Also, there was lots of pets involved. So the sound designers, he had a cat, and the cat had sadly been attacked by another cat and it hurt its windpipe. And then it healed, and it was years later, it recovered, but it always breathed kind of like this. So he recorded it, and that became the little Aqualops, the cute little dinosaur in the movie. And so that's his cat. And so there's all sorts of things, but yeah, a lot of pets were inspiration for the animation as well. The computer artists who did all the animation, my golden rule was please don't animate anything unless you have footage of a real animal doing that behavior. And so a lot of them would film their dogs and cats trying to do something like that we wanted in the shot, or there'd be like footage of animals in Africa or somewhere, but there was always a clip so it was never just invented, it was always actual animal behavior,
The worst of the worst, we're left here. Survival is a long shot.